So choosing to get an education can be stressful, and we know that finances play a huge part in that stress. Let's start with a quick question, which we just did, which was the poll question that you just answered. So did you know that there are many options? Willis College has a team of finance advisors. They are experts in the finance field of education to help you with the decision. Here are some of the options available to you. There are interest-free payment plans, RRSPs and RESPs, and I'll explain a little more about those shortly. Band funding, that's something available to you if you are an Indigenous student. Better Jobs Ontario, which we're going to talk a lot about tonight. Military funding, and then of course there's also student loans and student grants. Really excited to talk about all of these options with you. So interest-free payment plan. Willis College offers affordable, interest-free payment plans. If you have savings, have a regular income, this might be a really good option. What we do is we take the cost of the program and divide it by the number of months of the program. So in the case that you're seeing on the screen, the program is the Addictions and Community Support Worker program, starts in January, and the cost of the program is $15,515. That includes all of the books, all of the software, everything that the student needs. We take that, we divide it by 12 months, which is the length of the program, and we set up a monthly payment plan. This is a really great option if you have a little bit of cash that you've been saving up to use for school. It's interest-free. It's simply taking the cost of school, dividing it by the number of months of the program. RESPs and RRSPs. So these are often confusing. So an RRSP, that is your Registered Retirement Savings Plan. So lots of us put money into RRSPs, or maybe our spouses do. And under the Lifelong Learning Plan by Revenue Canada, you are able to withdraw up to $10,000 in a calendar year from you or your spouse's Registered Retirement Savings Plan to a maximum of $20,000 to finance full-time training or education. It's a really great option if you have some RRSPs that you've been saving up for. RESPs, these are the Retirement Education Savings Plan. An RESP, it's also a great resource. An RESP is a savings vehicle typically used by parents to save for children's post-secondary studies. Students who have been named a beneficiary under a family member's RESP can use the funds from the RESP to pay for school. We have lots of students funded under the RESP. Mom and dad have been saving up so they could pay for school when your time was ready for school, and you're able to fund through the RESP program. Band funding. As I previously mentioned, if you have eligibility status as a First Nations, Inuit, or Métis, you may be eligible for federal funding administered via the band office on the reserve or as part of your band. If you're not sure how to do this, or you're not sure what that means, our finance department are absolutely capable of helping you source your band office, find out if you're eligible for band funding. Band funding is a really great option. It is interest-free. Often they don't even ask you to pay back. It is there so that you can go to school and get your diploma. Better Jobs Ontario. I really want to spend a significant amount of time on the Better Jobs Ontario program tonight. So this used to be called Second Careers. It is a major program in Ontario. All provinces have a version of this. And this is designed for laid-off workers and job seekers wishing to retrain for jobs in sectors that have really good potential for future employment. Better Job Ontario will help pay for tuition, books, fees, and living expenses. So we're going to look at a presentation that was provided to me by Better Jobs Ontario. So I'm just going to stop share on this PowerPoint, and we're going to go to a second PowerPoint, because who wants to only look at one? All right, are you all able to see my screen? Sometimes when we do a swap on screen share, it doesn't always change. If you cannot see my screen, the screen you should be seeing is a white background with a pale green color. If you cannot see that, please type in chat that you can't see it, so I know that there's a problem. Jama, you say you can see it. Thank you so much for the feedback. It's important. I can't see you, so it's important that you tell me. Thank you so much. So this is an overview of Better Jobs Ontario. This was provided to me by BJO, and this falls under the Ministry of Labour, Training and Skills Development. So the goal of Better Jobs Ontario is to provide vocational training to laid off, unemployed people to help them find work in occupations in demand in the Ontario market. So don't panic if you don't fall into unemployed or laid off, because there's a couple of differences in here under the BGO goals, and we'll talk about them. So eligibility for the Better Jobs Ontario grant, you have to have been laid off or unemployed, or you have to come from a low-income household experiencing challenges attaching to the labour market. What this means is you're coming from a low-income household, finding it difficult to get out of low income because you're unable to get into a career where you can make better money. You need to be a resident of Ontario, Canadian citizen, or permanent resident. That's very important. For the purposes of Better Job Ontario, the term laid off includes those who've had an employment contract that has ended, those who have received maternity, paternal, or sickness benefits and wish to re-enter the labour market. So this is important, not necessarily laid off, but been on mat leave, been on paternal leave, been on sick leave, want to get back into work. Better Jobs Ontario is an option. Those who have left their jobs for medical reasons, this is also an option. So Better Jobs Ontario is a grant, not a loan. It is something you do not have to pay back, and it is there to help you fund for school. Better Jobs Ontario is for those who were laid off on or after January the 1st, 2005, and may have become self-employed in that time, but again, may be struggling to get back into the workplace environment. So individuals laid off in another province of Canada or abroad are eligible for Better Jobs Ontario as long as they meet all the other criteria: Canadian citizen, PR, living in Ontario, those types of things. So you may have moved to Ontario, you can't find a job, maybe you were laid off in Alberta, moved to Ontario, and you're looking to get back into the job market, you need to get a diploma. Better Jobs Ontario is a great place to start. The Better Jobs Ontario program offers a maximum of $28,000 to cover all costs with certain exceptions. Those exceptions are going to be discussed with you by your Better Jobs Ontario counsellor. Clients can receive funding through Better Jobs Ontario for tuition, books, what's deemed other fees, and sometimes you'll see that on a school contract. It says other fees. It covers things like specialized software, those types of things, transportation, laptop, computer, and basic living allowance. Also dependent care. just going to go back a slide. I missed a piece. I'm so sorry. There we go. Clients that are on employment insurance, so EI benefits, are also able to receive their EI while training, and this is not included in the 28,000 max. So what that means is you could be gathering EI and getting the $28,000 from BGO to be in school. The training period, so between the start of school and the end of school, cannot exceed 52 weeks. So any program that you take in school that you're looking to get a diploma in must be less than 52 weeks. Very important. Okay. Starting in December 2020, there was also Better Jobs Ontario Fast Track. This was where applications could be accelerated so that people who were laid off due to the pandemic were able to very quickly get back into school and back into the workforce. So currently the ministry, the sort of highly impacted sectors that the ministry has identified that would be fast-tracked: people who were working in accommodation and food services, people who were working in building and support services, people who were working in agriculture, transportation, warehouses, wholesale and retail trade, construction, information, culture and recreation, people working in manufacturing, forestry, fishing, mining, oil and gas. Also people who are working in personal and laundry services. So anyone working in that field who lost their job due to the pandemic is fast-tracked through the Better Jobs Ontario process. What that really means is the Better Jobs Ontario process takes anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks. A fast track, you can be able to apply and get into school in about 4 to 6. So it goes a little bit faster to get you up and ready and back. The fast track program is still in place for students. Whoop. Let me just go back again. My buttons are going too fast. The expected outcome for the Better Jobs Ontario program is skills training completion that will lead directly to employment. So what that means is we want you to get your diploma and get into work as fast as possible. Huge bonus with us here at Willis College. We have an entire career employment department. They're going to work with you on your practicum. All of our programs, except some of our IT programs, have a full practicum program where you're going to be working using the skills, practicing what you've learned, and then they're also going to help you with your resume writing, your interview skills, and your job search. We currently have a 90% employment rate in Willis College, which is a really fabulous number. So we're really excited that we're able to help you with skills training that will lead directly to employment. To find Better Jobs Ontario, go to your Employment Ontario office. There is a 1-800 number. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to write down that 1-800 number that is right here on the slide. So Employment Ontario, it's 1-800-387-5656. They can tell you where your local office is and how to get started. That was the end of the Better Jobs Ontario piece. The next, we're going to go back to the other PowerPoint now. I know it's a lot of switching. I hope you're still with me. All right, so we are talking about Better Jobs Ontario. Can you all see my screen change again? It's back to the blue background. Just somebody give me a quick yes that you can see that. And then I know we're good. Jama, thank you so much. So glad you're here with us tonight. Andrew, thank you. So we're back onto the Willis College presentation. We've talked about BGO. I know you all probably have a ton of questions. I promise I've left lots and lots of time to take your questions at the end of the presentation. You're going to be typing your questions into the chat box or into the Q&A box. Either one, I'll either call your question out and have someone help answer it, or we'll just type a response to you. Either way. Okay, so we will be taking all your questions, I promise. Next slide. So headline news. Last year, due to COVID, the federal government doubled the federal student grant. What this means is when you apply for a student loan, you're also granted grant money. It used to be, I believe it used to be $3,000 per student, and that's been doubled by the federal government due to COVID. Now, it is still in place, but only until July 31st, 2023. So for those of you who think you want to get ready to come to school, now is a really, really good time because we can still get that grant and it's still doubled. It's never been a better time to come to school. After July, we do not know yet if it will be extended. Let's talk about a student. So in the first scenario we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about a student seeking finance. She's a single mom with 2 small children. Neither child have any disabilities. She only works casual part-time, and she does not have any savings, and she does not receive child support. She's going to take the Addictions and Community Support Worker program. Let's take her through some options. So Canada Student Loans and Grants, let's look at our student and see an example of what she might get from OSAP. So OSAP is the Ontario Student Loan. It would be very similar province to province. So OSAP has a tuition and compulsory fee maximum cap to how much funding a student can receive. OSAP includes an allowance for books, supplies, equipment, and computer costs. Really important. So let's talk about what our student might be eligible for with living allowance. Our student is considered a sole support parent of 2 children. She would be eligible to receive a weekly allowance that is calculated under the sole support parent status. She would also be eligible to receive a weekly allowance per child. Our student is also eligible to receive assistance with daycare costs. Our student only has to report income if she exceeds earning more than $16,800 during her studies. So she's going to get tuition and books paid. She's going to get an allowance, a weekly allowance, because she's the sole provider. She's going to be eligible for a weekly allowance per child. She's also going to get some assistance for daycare. And as long as she doesn't earn more than $16,800 during her studies, she's going to maximize all of those eligibilities. So here's an example of what the student's OSAP payment plan would look like. So she'd have to make a payment from OSAP a couple of times. She might make a self-payment. When OSAP give the school tuition, they only give the school tuition. They do not give the school money for books. The book money goes to the student, and the student then has to give that money to the school. It's a little bit complicated. Tuition comes directly to the school, book money goes to the student, and then the student is asked to give that money to the school. Usually OSAP is dispersed twice during your school time, right after you start, and then about the halfway point. Okay. Our second scenario is a single student aged 20, living at home with their mom and dad. No children, works part-time. Both mom and dad have full-time employment and a family household income of $110,000. For our students' assessment, OSAP will base the funding around the parents' combined yearly income. The parental contribution is assessed on both the provincial and federal assessments. A calculation is completed by taking the weekly parental contribution, dividing it by the number of dependent children in full-time post-secondary, multiplied by the number of weeks of study. It's a little bit complicated, all taken care of by OSAP. Our student will be assessed for tuition and fees, allowance for books, supplies, and equipment, the weekly amount allotted for living allowance for a student under dependent status living at home, and our student only has to report income if he exceeds earning more than $16,800 during his studies. In this scenario, our student living with his parent would receive partial funding from OSAP to aid him in financing his program. The student would be responsible for paying the shortfall out of pocket using the interest-free monthly payment plan. Here's what the payment schedule might look like. So the first payment that you see would be his OSAP payment, and then it's broken down into some monthly payments. So it looks like in the $15,500, it's given about $11,300 from OSAP. The rest of that, so about $4,200, is divided by the number of months of the program for a monthly payment. Okay, so what are we going to do for you as a finance department? What we're going to do is we are going to provide you with experienced professional financial assistance, a relaxed, encouraging environment to discuss your plan, support, and help. We want you to pick the right option and be really confident in your decision. When you've spoken with a student advisor, they're going to ask you if you would like to then speak to a finance advisor. We call this the 5-minute finance. A 5-minute finance is an opportunity for us as a school and you as a student to discuss the options for financing your schooling. We call it 5 minutes, but it does take just a little bit longer. Some of the questions that we will ask you as we prepare to do your student aid application: have you done your taxes from the previous tax year? You will need to have your taxes done, as we do need those for your student loan application. We will ask you about your income and if you are currently working either part-time or full-time. We will ask you if you are married or in a common law relationship, or if you are a sole support parent. We're going to ask you if you have any dependent children. And really important, we're going to ask if you have ever had student loans in the past. We don't ask these questions because we're nosy. We ask these questions because it's really important to ensure that we have all of the correct information to be able to guide you through the finance process for schooling. Student loan requires this information to ensure that they can accurately give you the student loans and grants that you're entitled to. So repayment. You've completed school, you've got your diploma, you're out there working in your fabulous new career. You have to pay your loan back. Anything you got as a grant does not need to be repaid. Everything you get as a loan will need to be repaid. So your responsibilities for repayment: making scheduled payments towards your loan and interest that accrues, notifying the loan provider of any changes to your name, your address, how they would get hold of you. If you cannot make a payment, sometimes we understand students run into issues with securing income. Maybe you lose your job, you get sick, something happens. We ask you to please contact your student loan provider. Make sure that you let them know what is happening and they will revise the terms of your repayment. They may ask for interest-only payments, and there's also a process called the Repayment Assistance Program. We'll talk about all of those things when you're here in school. These payment assistance options can help with payment deferral or reduction on a monthly amount owed should you be unable to make repayment. So let's do another poll question. Let's see what you think of the next one, if I can get it to work. There we go. So The question is, I am ready to talk finance and start school in January. Yes or no? I am ready to talk finance and start school in January. What do you think, guys? Are you ready to join us and take the leap to a better career? Give me some answers. Just 2 people left to answer. Getting some great responses. Super excited. Awesome. So we have 87% of you said that you are ready to talk finance and start school in January. That's super exciting. Couple of you not quite sure yet. We're happy to answer any questions and hope that we can bring you up onto this ready to start school option. We are here to help. If you don't want to have any questions answered tonight, I'd be happy to book an appointment for you if you want to give me your email. Otherwise, I do have a couple of members of the finance team available with me tonight to help answer any questions that you might have. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and for joining us in Funding Your Future. I understand that choosing a new career, choosing a school, and then funding it is a really huge decision. Please know that we are here to help you. I'm going to stop share and we'll open for questions. Please type your questions into the chat box or the Q&A box, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Any questions that you have? I'm sure I wasn't that good in going through this presentation, so there's got to be some questions out there, guys. Andrew, tell me what program. Type in the box for me. What program are you thinking of? Nicholas, you'd like to book an appointment? We will absolutely have someone email you to book an appointment. Nicholas, what program were you thinking you'd like to take in school? You can start this month. We have a start date at the end of January, and there's still time to get everything lined up for a start this month. Absolutely. Our next start date is March, but we do still have time to get you into school and ready for this month, Jama. Do you know what program you'd like to take, Jama? Andrew, cybersecurity operator, fabulous program. Already been in contact with Employment Ontario about BGO. Good, I'm really glad, Andrew, that's awesome. They're very good with this program. They're very familiar with Cyber Operator and with Willis. If there's anything that you need from us, please don't hesitate to ask. I hope that you're working with one of our advisors, finance and student, so that they can help you have everything that you need. Jama, Craig sent you an email and he said April. Jama, what program was it that you were thinking that you wanted to take? Nicholas, you're thinking cybersecurity, such a fabulous program. It's absolutely our most popular program, so always a good one to be in. Definitely the future for employment. Jama, if you tell me what program you're looking for, I'll be able to tell you what date it is. Nicholas, you would like to contact with a student advisor? Absolutely. And I have your email address, so we will take care of that for you. Not a problem. Andrew, are you already talking to someone in as a student advisor to help you with your BGO for Cyber Operator? Can I start accounting in January? Yes, we have a fabulous accounting program starting on January 23rd. And executive business also starts January 23rd, and they're all online. So all of our programs currently, except our PSW, our massage therapy, and our dental, are available as online programs. Our online delivery is so fabulous. It really makes things great for the student. Very flexible, really allows you to get the very best. Jama, I'm going to make sure that we reach out to you tomorrow and get things started for you to come to school. Okay, Nicholas, the cybersecurity program also is done online. So you'll really enjoy the program. Lots and lots of hands-on, lots of homework though, so be prepared. It's not an easy program, but the outcome is going to be amazing. So Jama and Nicholas, I'll make sure that I connect you both with people who can help you. And then Samsung, I love that you're using your phone. Accounting in January, absolutely. If you need me to help you get in contact with an advisor or a finance advisor, please let me know. If you just give me your email address, I'd be happy to do that for you. Are there any other questions? Anything else I can do to help? Excellent, Andrew. I'm really glad. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help you. I love that you have a friend who took the program and loved it. I hope that they're finding a great deal of success. Nicholas, I'm very excited about the options. I am too. I think you're really going to enjoy what we do here at Willis College. We have some fabulous instructors and the cybersecurity program is outstanding. So welcome, and I hope to see you in class very, very soon. Dela, do you have any questions we can help you with? Okay, well, I can't believe I answered all your questions, but if I did, I'm super stoked and really excited to have you all join us very soon here at Willis College. I want to thank you for your time today. Please know that we will have someone reach out to you to see how we can help you get your future started and come to school to be with us here at Willis College. Please take an incredible amount of care of yourself and those around you, and we will see you very, very soon.